Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Guapish, not Rule 34. We dropped it. Come on, get with the times, Tanner. Speaking of Tanner, I'm being joined by my very special guest who's gentle, sensitive, and full of longing, Tanner.
That's right. Dude, how am I gonna goon without the Rule 34 in the title?
And we're also being joined by my second guest who's on the brink of experiencing ego death, Jackson.
Not just ego death, true death. I'm actually planning on joining the town this week.
The town, you say? That's right, folks. Today, we have a very special episode planned for you, as with every episode, but this one in particular is a bit more interesting. Tanner, would you like to tell the folks about it?
That's right, guys. It's time for a new segment. Here we are with... we didn't choose a name. Are we gonna call it Guapish at the Library?
Guapish at the Book Club.
Guapish at the Book Club? That we could do that. Or just the Guapish Book Club.
I like the library one more just because it goes with our other theme of one word segments.
True.
At the book club seems a little wordy.
Library
Guapish
it is.
At the library. We're doing book reviews now. I've never reviewed a book before.
Same. I definitely have actually in my college days for like assignments, but
I don't know, does a book report count as a review? I don't think I've ever ended a report with, and I think this book was pretty alright. I'd recommend it.
I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Pretty decent, all things considered.
Someone should do that, dude. That'd be funny. But yeah, we reviewed a book, guys, and this week we decided to review the very first Goosebumps book, Welcome to Dead House.
That's right. That's the first one, probably. If you're gonna be typing down in the comments, actually, Stay Out of the Basement is the very first book that R.L. Stine had planned. Fuck you. Die.
Yeah.
But I am curious, guys, what is your experience with Goosebumps up until this point?
Dude, I have read a handful of Goosebumps books and enjoyed them. Or I think I enjoyed them. I wasn't a huge horror guy as a little kid, but I've definitely read some of them, and I'm pretty sure I enjoyed them. Who knows? Maybe as a little kid I was terrified, and then growing up I was like, oh, people say these books are like iconic or whatever. I guess I like them now.
Yeah, I never read them as a kid because the covers scared me too much, and I was a little pussy, okay? I didn't like scary things whatsoever. Jaws, that shit fucking scarred me. Gremlins, I couldn't sleep for weeks after seeing that shit. And so Goosebumps, I could just never quite deal with it up until now.
So this is your first time ever reading a Goosebumps book?
That's right. Live on air, we popped my Goosebumps cherry.
Dude, that's crazy. What about you, Jackson?
I used to read these all the time as a kid. I read so many of them. They were some of my favorite books growing up as a wee lad. They definitely scared me. Lots of them I remember freaking the shit out of me back in the day. Yeah, and this is the first time I've read one since like middle school probably, if not earlier. This is definitely some elementary school shit. Maybe early on in middle school. I mostly got these in like book fairs and read them at like school libraries. Yeah, I used to enjoy them a lot back in the day. Used to be a big fan of them. I've got a lot of fond memories of reading about them.
Nice. Well, yeah. So I guess we can do overall thoughts.
Well, I guess we should probably do like a quick rundown of what actually happens in this book.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I can do that.
Okay.
So we have a nuclear family with siblings Josh and Amanda.
I thought you were going to start off with, we have a nuclear meltdown that happened in this town. It's crazy. Just immediately go off the rails.
That's funny. No, yeah, and they move into a house, and things are kind of creepy in the house, and then they make friends with the neighborhood kids, and then their dog gets killed, and they find out that all of the people in the town were killed by a plastic factory chemical leak. And now they have to kill people once a year and drink their blood or something. The end. Oh, well, they get away. But
yeah. The question is, though, do they all die at the end?
Yeah, that is left up open to interpretation, I suppose, because they do have the correlation to the family with the previous tenants.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. I kind of just assume, this family is escaping, and then there's a new one coming in The one thing I did think is, I mean, I know it's a hard to believe story, but you're not going to try warning the new family at all?
Yeah, like, I mean, you could assume maybe they're in a panic to get out of there as fast as possible. But yeah, I definitely would have tried to say something rather than literally just the line the rest of the kids say, which I guess maybe leans credence to the fact that maybe they are truly dead at the end.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I wasn't totally sure if they actually did make it out, or if it's like, oh yeah, I guess we're just trapped in this town now too, or something.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know even necessarily the process for what turns them dead in the first place. We don't really see it or have any clue to it, so...
Killing all the other townspeople actually is what kills you.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I wanted to real quick say, comment on the cover. I find the tagline very funny, where it's "Welcome to Dead House," and then the tagline is "It will just kill you." I know that's not the cadence they want it read. They want it to be like "It will just kill you" or whatever, but I think it's infinitely more funny to just "It will just kill you."
Hang on, dude. Tier list idea. Tier list of all of the Goosebumps fucking slogans on the cover.
Slogans. I think that might be a decent idea, because I clicked through, the books. A few of the taglines are just like, this is just very funny in how bad they are, to be clear. So, overall thoughts on the book. I liked it. I thought it was solid. It's very straightforward and kind of boring, especially for a first entry. I will say I didn't remember very many specifics about Goosebumps, and so I was kind of worried that it was going to be like really watered down baby horror, where like, there isn't anything really like violent or bad actually happening. But no, they kill the dog, and then they have some actual imagery of like people fucking having their faces melt off and shit and whatever. I was like, oh, okay, they have some actual stuff that'll scare the kiddos.
Yeah, I was shocked with how graphic they were with this. I'm pretty sure later down the line they start toning it down a bit, and this is him just trying to like find the line he can draw, basically, on how far he can go with it. But yeah, I don't remember them ever being this graphic.
Yeah, in the second book, he has a scene where a guy just, like, stomps someone's head in for a few minutes, and, after that, he has to rein it back a little bit.
The editor's like, okay, man, we're making this for kids, right? I'll go next. I'm pretty similar to Tanner. I think this movie, I'm so used to reviewing movies, my brain's fucked up. This book takes a while to like truly get where it's going, and if you have any semblance of media literacy, it's incredibly obvious what's happening very early on. So most of this is just kind of boring, because like I already know what the fuck's happening, and it's just constantly fake out after fake out after fake out after fake out, and it's kind of annoying. And it's like the fucking main character is just like schizophrenia simulator. Nobody believes her. She doesn't know if she believes herself. It's pretty like almost like a comedy in that regard. But yeah, it takes a while to like really get where it's going. I do like the idea. I think all of the Goosebumps books have pretty novel concepts, and that's why I appreciate them, just because it's like they introduce a cool idea, and then it lets your brain kind of run wild with like expansions of that idea, maybe, rather than the actual like story that takes place itself. I think the setup to beating the guys in the end is cool. I like that they play with the setting that way. But yeah, overall it was kind of boring for the most part. I like the idea. I could see myself fucking with this if I was younger and I didn't have as much experience, and I was more caught up in the mystery of it all potentially.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with my husband here. Yeah, this book was kind of whatever for the most part for me, because yeah, as Jackson was saying, it is just a lot of like fucking, bait and switches here and there. It's like, is the kid missing? Is he being chased right now? Oh no, okay, he's chasing the dog. How silly, whatever, fuck you. Also, just the way this book is written, it feels very much so just like targeted towards a younger audience. So like, obviously it's a fucking Goosebumps book, so that is the case here, but at the same time it's like, all right, I don't need things reiterated like 10 times for me to understand what's happening. Like fucking at one point, it was pretty early on, the mom is like, I'm gonna kill that boy, and then like a couple paragraphs later she's like, I'm gonna kill that boy, and the main character thinks, that's not the first time she said that. Yeah, we just heard her say it. Why are you saying that now?
That's kind of funny to point out. I kind of disagree with you guys on the like fake outs, because like, I don't know, to me that was just like, to me it was kind of interesting to see that from like a writing skill, I guess, a perspective, because like he was always doing that stuff at the end of the chapter. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is like a way that you get the reader to keep going through the book and make sure they keep turning the pages. You just put a small little like, ooh, something's gonna be revealed at the beginning of the next chapter thing, and I don't think it's as big of a deal as you guys are making it out to be.
Generally speaking, I'm not really opposed to fake outs because they're just a really common trope in horror media. Like fucking horror movies do it all the goddamn time. But the problem is just the frequency of them. They're just non-stop in this shit constantly. There's like fucking 2 a chapter until we get to the actual like scary stuff that starts. And at a point, the first couple of I was like, oh, they're really picking up the pace pretty quickly. But after like the first 3, I was like, okay, I see where this is going. And yeah, it's basically just nonstop fake outs until we actually learn what's going on. And it was grating. It was mostly just like, I'd get a setup and I'd be like, I know exactly where this is going. There was no suspense to it whatsoever. And that was right 90% of the time about what was going to happen.
Do you guys think that when those, all them little chillin', like, gathered around them with them baseball bats, do you think they were legitimately about to just fucking bash their brains in?
I assume there's some, like, magic or some shit they do to convert them, potentially. Maybe they knock them out with the bat and, like, tie them up and take them over to the amphitheater or something. Something nefarious is definitely happening. Speaking of, like, the kids, like, they were playing outside in the day all the time. Why the fuck weren't the kids, like, dying or some shit?
I believe the first time it's actually written down that they're like outside, it was like a stormy day, so there was like cloud coverage.
But they're like playing with them like daily for like a couple of weeks.
They talk a lot about how many like trees and how much shade there is, and how like the only part of this town that has any light is like the middle of the street, and so it's possible that they just weren't ever actually in the sunlight.
Crazy that they'd be able to do that, but yeah, understandable. I do like the setting though, just like those tiny details about that whole place being dead, the fucking all the street lights being gone. There's a lot of clues they give you early on, honestly, which leads me more into like Goosebumps books are just like good starter books, I think, for getting into things. They don't hold your hand a crazy amount with what they're trying to do. But they give you enough clues to be able to put pieces together yourself. And I think that's what really makes a good mystery at the end of the day, where you're able to work through the problem yourself. So like, I feel like a kid reading this would have a great time just because like they don't have this level of like media knowledge at this point. And it is like a fun puzzle that they realistically could solve themselves pretty consistently with a lot of these. And I like that. I think it's fun.
Yeah, it's like them old Nancy Drew books and such. Do they still make Goosebumps books, or has that completely been overtaken at this point by those FNAF ones?
I don't think he still makes them. I mean, R.L. Stine is still alive, but he's 88, so I don't know if he's still writing.
Okay. Yeah, I know that he got... Because, like, he was fucking busting these books out for years, and I know that he got into, like, some controversy with, like, his publisher or whatever, because he was using ghostwriters for a decent chunk of the books. So, I don't know if he just, like, wasn't allowed to write at that point. Yeah. So, like, he had made some... I don't know all the details, but it was like, his publisher was like, hey, you need to get out this many books, and they have to be made by you. You can't have any ghostwriters or whatever the fuck. And so he was like, okay, I'll do that. But then, yeah, he ended up just like going ahead and doing that, where it was like he'd write the outline of the books, and he'd have like some ghostwriters actually write out the whole thing.
I think that might be not his Goosebumps books, because I looked through his Wikipedia, and it said that his publishing company was owned by him and his wife.
I think he had
his wife was a fucking slave driver.
Yeah, she was. He had like some deal with some other company who was involved in all this. I don't remember all the this is so off track, by the way. But
what the fuck else are we gonna talk about?
That's fair.
Yeah, it's a short book. It's fun. It's got a novel concept. I think if I wasn't a 26-year-old man, I would enjoy this more.
Yeah, I let's see, what other notes do I have here? I thought the ending was a bit abrupt, but it's such a short book that, like, that's kind of just gonna happen.
I can't believe they got in the car with the dude. I can't believe they do that. Are they dumb, stupid little kids or something? Crazy.
Why did he draw so much attention to that cowboy hat the guy put on at the beginning?
Why they draw attention to the fact they think the guy's hot?
Yeah.
True.
He was hinting at some sort of homoerotic relations between the father and that man.
I just totally forgot too. God fucking damn it! They mentioned that they drive a small Honda up to the house, and that I was planning on, because there's a live action episode there's like a 2-parter, I think.
You're gonna look into it and make sure they're actually driving a Honda.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see if there's continuity.
Dude.
You guys keep talking. Let me go find that.
Okay. One line I thought was very funny was when the kids say, "Now we're dead in your house."
It was definitely fun.
We lived in the dead house. Now we're dead in your house. Silly stuff, I tell you.
Okay, so here's the thing with the Ghostwriter stuff. So Scholastic was the publisher of Goosebumps, but another company, it looks like Parachute Press, owned the rights to Goosebumps. And yeah, it got very messy when, like, one of the companies were like, yeah, ghostwriters, that's a no-go, you're not allowed to use them. And the other company was like, it's chill though, like, it's just as, like, sole writer in the clause. It doesn't say it like he can't use assistants or anything. Which
Why would they?
Yeah.
Why would they care?
I don't know. It's impossible to say truly.
Anyways, I've solved the mystery here. They don't. They drive like a fucking Ford wagon, like some old school, like 90s Ford Taurus wagon.
That's knocking the book down a point. Or does it knock the show down a point?
Knocks the show down a point, man. They're not following continuity. I did watch a little bit of like the end of the show because I was curious if they solved it in the same way. They don't. The show adaptation is pretty different.
Gotcha.
Womp womp.
Did you hear the viewers beware? You're in for a scare.
Yeah, no, I watched the very intro part where fucking R.L. Stein comes out from a stack of boxes in an attic and gives the fucking synopsis and then says, "Viewers beware, you're in for a scare." I love that. I love R.L. Stein just as a character. I think he's fun.
Oh, yeah.
So, hey, I'm R.L. Stein. I hope you enjoy this here book about Fat Albert and the gang going to the dead house.
I hope kids still read Goosebumps books. They probably don't, but
No,
I
doubt
hope they do.
Like I said, it's all about FNAF now.
Do they even have book fairs or anything anymore?
Yeah, they do.
Hell yeah. I used to fuck with book fairs so much. They're like such a big part of my childhood.
I do too. A couple weeks ago, I was legit looking at some books that I remember getting from book fairs. I'm like, man, I really kind of want to buy these just to have a blast of nostalgia.
We are such creatures of nostalgia. It's truly crazy. Like, we're only 20. Are we all 26 now, except for Nico, little baby guy?
I'm sorry, dude. Give me a week or so, and I'll be 26 like the rest of you.
Hell yeah, you're gonna be pushing 30 like the rest of us. But yeah, we're still pretty young. We're like a third of the way done with our lives or so, depending on the outlook you want to give. And I'm very nostalgic for like being a fucking child. I'm curious if this is just gonna grow even more intense as I get older.
Maybe.
I feel that, dude. Like, you saw me go on a tear to just, like, download pretty much every game from my childhood so I could play them whenever I want to. Have I done that yet? No, but I like knowing I can.
Yeah. Is that what like a midlife crisis is? You're just, like, so overwhelmed with, like, that childhood sense of adventure and want that you go out and just do something that, like, childhood you would want to do, but you can now?
I need to download Tokabots Plus for the PS2. I need to relive those memories.
I need to buy a brand new Corvette. Childhood me loved Corvettes.
Jackson, which of us do you think is the most likely to go through, like, a bad midlife crisis?
A bad one? Damn.
Yeah, where it's like not necessarily like, oh yeah, they're going out and like doing a bunch of drugs and fucking hookers or anything like that, but like it's a pretty substantial midlife crisis.
Toss up between Tanner and me then.
Okay.
I feel like I kind of preemptively had my midlife crisis, to be honest.
He got out of the way
I
early.
already bought my dream car, and I'm not even close to my midlife crisis point yet, so I'm really cooking up to be a fucking crash out here.
You still have a dream motorcycle to buy.
True, but that one's like incredibly obtainable. I'm not buying some fucking $60,000 like race bike.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, do we want to, I don't know, How do we want to do this?
Let's see. Yeah, should we do like some sort of a rating? Do we use a tier list system or just like numbers?
Dude, how about we do a solid just 1 to 5 rating here? 1 to 5.
Can we use like points? Like 0.5 or whatever?
No.
No, because what's the fucking point of just not doing like out of 10 then?
I do like the idea of it being like a different system from what either of the other reviews do.
Yeah, I was gonna say as well. I almost think we do like a
I'm thinking of like the 0.5 scale is more of like like the smiley face charts, right? Where the middle is like neutral about it, and then it's like slightly happy, and then like very happy, and then slightly bad, and then or like slightly
I do think
worse.
some sort of chart system like that.
Dude,
is what we should
let's just pull up an
invent
actual
here.
smiley face chart and use that. Hang on.
Wait, what about that fucking like chess move analysis thing? What if we try and fucking retrofit a rating system onto that?
I hope you guys aren't planning on me keeping track of this shit too. I have no intention of like adding this to the site or anything right now.
If we ever do a second Guapish at the library, we will do that.
I'll add a hidden page on the website for it because we're gonna do these so infrequently. I imagine that it's not gonna be worth it to have a whole ass page for like 2 fucking book reviews every year.
Yeah. Hang on, let's use this pain chart. How does that sound?
Dude, I don't like that neutral. Or why is like the neutral fucking one distressing?
I'm proposing the chest move analysis system here.
I do like saying blunder. I think that's a funny way of describing something as just a big fail.
Yeah, we can use that.
Okay, there we go.
Let's say this was a book.
That is a great middle point.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a book that we've just read. I'll agree with that. I'm not like super negative about it because I realize this is not targeted towards me. And I do see the value of who it is targeted for. It's not like some kids movie that's just like some dumb shit for nothing because it's meant to be for some stupid kids. This is like...
There's still value here in this book.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm still very nostalgic about it. I don't think I ever read this one as a kid, but I am excited to read some of the ones I actually do know of. Like the fucking... The ones where it's like the mask you put on, you can only put on like 3 times unless it gets like stuck in your face.
Yeah.
The basement one. I have a lot of basement ones actually. There's the basement one with the slime. There's another one with like a plant that eats the fucking dad. Mm-hmm. All sorts of crazy.
They're
shit
all the
that
ones
happens.
with that little dummy. I know that those were pretty huge. He appears in a bunch of books.
Yeah, he's like the mascot. I don't think I ever read any of those, to be honest.
I could not be bothered to remember which ones I have and haven't read.
Tanner just wants to read Attack of the Mutant.
The one with the fucking Yeti that wanders around LA.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
I remember the
that
cover
one's
for
more
that one.
comedic than anything, I think.
There are a lot of them that mostly are just about the comedy of the situation rather than the actual like horror of it.
Oh, I just remembered one that definitely scared me as a kid. It was where like it was a bunch of skeletons having a barbecue.
Oh, say cheese and you die or whatever.
Yeah,
say
maybe.
cheese, you're dead. Say cheese and die.
Hell yeah. I doubt I'll get another opportunity to talk about this too, but I did randomly watch a TV original Goosebumps episode relatively recently. It was like a month ago maybe. I don't know what spurred this on. Probably just us talking about Goosebumps about a month ago, regardless. But it was like some like little prop house, like a little not prop house, but prop town. And if you interacted with it in some way, you basically got sucked into the town. It was like ran by some fucking weirdo dude that wanted to turn you into like a plastic figurine there, so you're stuck in the town forever.
Damn.
You have to find a way of escaping. That was an interesting one. They do some weird shit. Like one of the main girls is a big capitalist, and she gets turned into a fucking pig. That shit's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
Like they can do creepy stuff if they want to, but it's still definitely like some kids horror shit. I think that was an okay episode. People say it's like one of the scariest Goosebumps things of all time. I don't know if that's the peak then.
Yeah, I remember watching an episode as a kid where it was like some kids moving to a new house. That's the typical Goosebumps formula right there. But they move into a new like old creepy house. There's a mirror in there that like when you look into it, you get replaced by a mirror version of you. And so like she sees her brother eating his cereal with the opposite hand of what he usually does, and it's so creepy.
I think I remember an episode about eating bugs that scared me.
I'm like suddenly just overwhelmed with a sense of like I know of like a story, but I don't know if it's real or not. Let me fucking rip this idea off you guys, and you guys tell me if you've heard anything about it. Where it's literally there's like a mirror world, right? And everybody has like a mirror copy of themselves, and the mirror people want to come up into the real world and like take over the true self. Because they don't want to be stuck in the fucking mirror world. And there's like police that are specifically out there trying to stop the mirror people from getting into the real world and keeping them down there.
Oh, it's Infinity Train.
Is that where I got that from? Oh yeah, you're right. It's Infinity Train. You're right. Yeah. I was like, for some reason, I thought that was some shit that came to me in like a fucking dream at some point. It may,
Before
it may
you
have
said
been
the police thing, I was gonna say fucking what's that one called? Us. By Jordan Peele.
I've never seen that. I do feel like I had something of that. Because I definitely know what you're talking about, the Infinity Train thing. That's certainly where the most of the idea came from, I think. But I feel like I've had some like dream about something like that before, way long ago.
Whoa.
Oh well. Anyways, how exciting!
That's right, guys. The first Goosebumps in the bag. We're giving it the rating of book.